but going to Katherine Albrecht, she's also fighting and praise God, hopefully winning a fight against breast cancer right now. So she might give us an update on that today as well. Katherine, good to have you here with us today.
Well, hey, Alex, it's terrific to be on with you. I can't believe you're doing 27 hours. I think it's fantastic. You could probably do 100 hours and keep going. You're like the Energizer Bunny out there, and I love it because there's just so much we got to be covering. You know, I'm out here in New Hampshire where we got hit by this October, what they're calling the Great Halloween Power Outage, this big storm we got. I'm on day 6 of no power. And the reason I bring that up, I'm actually broadcasting not out of my studio. I had to actually find somebody with power and get an opportunity to get online and connect to you this way. But there's a couple of things about this power outage I want to bring to people's attention, that when the powers that be choose to shut off our power, and I'm not implying that's what happened up here because we got down trees across our power lines, but if someone at some point says, hey, you know what, we're going to turn off your internet, we're going to turn off your power, we are going to be helpless. It is amazing to me watching what happened when we had about 2/3 of the state of New Hampshire and virtually all of New England without power, how everybody goes crazy. And, you know, even those generators, people say, oh, you get prepared to get a generator. The lines at our gas stations are stretching a half a mile. People were saying it was taking 45 minutes to an hour just to get gasoline because everybody's got to refill. I mean, those generators are taking 10, 15 gallons of gas a day. And if they shut that off, people are going to be in the dark, they're going to be cold, and let me tell you, more importantly, they're not going to have access to the internet. And that's been the hardest part for me. I've got kerosene, I've got heat, I've got water, I got all the stuff I need, but boy, I'll tell you, when you are out of communication range and you cannot use that internet, it is mind-blowing what they can do. And then you take a look at the smart meters. You mentioned that at the opening of the show, which is such an important topic, because the smart meters are about more than just making it easier for the power company to read your electric meter and send you a bill. The smart meters have an incredible amount of power to selectively shut off appliances in your home, to communicate with and have your appliances communicate back with the power company and say, hey, she ate 3 pieces of toast today instead of 1. What's going on? Does she have a visitor over? I mean, that level of invasiveness. And now we just had a news story come out telling us that the smart meter can even determine what show you're watching on TV or what DVD, that they actually monitor the amount of power that goes through your television to make light and dark images, and on the basis of that, they could run an algorithm and say exactly what TV show or movie you're watching. Unbelievable, and that's all coming. So, you know, when the power goes out, you start really thinking about that grid.
Well, first they came out with smart meters 5-6 years ago and said, don't worry, we won't control your thermostat. Now they admit they're going to be doing it, and then they're also coming out with, as you know, data transmission down power lines. They're now building circuits in different appliances where that data transmission over power line couples in and spies on what you're doing. They're coming out, and government buildings are testing it, of course, a flicker rate with fluorescent light bulbs that communicates with your computer. That's Associated Press. But let's get into the free speech issues first. Now we've seen David Cameron come out and say we're going to have to restrict free speech. We've seen the bill introduced, even CNET News, as you know, on Monday admitted, and they have members of Congress saying this new piracy bill is the end of the internet. No judge, no jury. They just shut down your website. ICANN saying they'll do it. We have Google now in its transparency report admitting the feds are telling them take stuff down, quote, critical of government. Police are telling them to take stuff down. Now when I upload a video, even if it has 30 seconds of a newscast that I'm analyzing under law, fair use, everything, it's commentary, companies are registering even their commercials and things, and it automatically flags it and won't let us post it. I mean, that's the kind of smart systems they've got to surveil AI, everything we're doing. An example is police are saying they're going to get the system that's being built into the new iPhones, where they just broadcast a feed or a certain type of light to where they take control of your smartphones where you can't videotape them. That's what the globalists are doing. They're engineering into all the tech through global conventions, the systems that surveil, control us, and then we pay for it when we purchase the product. I mean, it's so diabolical.
Yeah, they built it in, and you know what I always clarify, Alex, because as a privacy advocate, somebody who really works on those privacy issues, I always make it clear to people, listen, privacy is not an end, it's a means. You know, privacy or taking your privacy away is a means of achieving something else. And in the case of us, the citizens, what your privacy does is it gives you independence. It gives you anonymity. It gives you freedom of action. It gives you freedom. And so, you know, when people say, well, why do you really care who knows blah, blah, blah? I see that, you know, I personally care. But even if you don't care, that's not the point. Privacy is a form of power. It is a means to an end, and if someone takes away your privacy, the next thing they will take away is your freedom. And I'll give you an example. Why is it people are so up in arms about gun registration? The reason people get upset about gun registration is they know that once the government knows who has the guns, then when the time comes, they'll go knocking on those people's doors and take them.
Exactly. Let me stop you. They'll come take them, and that's happened in every country where this has happened, from Nazi Germany to Australia. Exactly. Privacy is really your safety, and governments that want your privacy are always building intelligence on you. It doesn't matter you did nothing wrong. Maybe they want your farm. Maybe they want your wife. Maybe they want to kill you and take your kids and press them into the Roman army. You know, the point is that it's not that we want our privacy because we're bad. It's because historically the bad guys want the intelligence on you.
Boy, that's beautifully said, and in the same way that you want to hang on to your privacy so you can hang on to your independence and your belongings and your freedoms, they want to take it away for the same reason. The reason people want to know everything you buy is not because they want to know everything you buy. It's because at some point in the future, they're going to want to be able to do exactly what Hitler did during World War II or leading up to it, which is to say certain people just don't qualify to buy food. You know, they said the Jews are not allowed to buy bread and milk and eggs. Yeah, you can go buy other stuff, but, you know, the basic foodstuffs, if you're Jewish, you couldn't buy them.
Well, it's currency controls. It's always an internal control system. Now the TSA's asking about a few silver coins. But if you expand into that, now they've passed a law where secondhand shops can't take cash in Louisiana. It's about tracking everything and taxing it to destroy. See, the colonies were being destroyed by the taxes because in England, the manufacturers wanted them shut down. The power to tax is the power to destroy. People say, well, who cares if the government knows everything I'm doing? The point is they want to destroy you. They want to shut you down. This is scorched earth. Katherine, stay there. Incredible. I want you to continue along that point about why this is so important, dealing with the currency controls. I'm calling it currency controls. What's the term called where they start tracking all the money and transactions in a country always during inflationary periods? It'll pop in my head in a moment. You're welcome to call in to the broadcast at 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. Then, when we start the next hour, it's going to be open phones, and we'll go to our phone system here in-house, because it's going to be commercial-free. And 4 breaks, I'll play little special reports by Darren McBreen. We've got some other things lined up so I can take breaks from time to time. And we do have David Icke, George Norrie coming up, Mike Adams, Tex Mars, and so many others, Gerald Celente, you name it, Fritz Springmeier, Jim Mars, Chapman, Alan Watt. The list goes on. And we're going to premiere some videos, special interviews here as well coming up. It is the 2011 money bomb. In fact, I should have brought up to Tarpley. He's been down here. He's seen it. Our full studios and what we've built in the last 4 years with your support with the last 3 money bombs. And we've got a lot of donations coming in. People are calling to donate at 888-253-3139. I'd like to thank you for your donation and your continued support of InfoWars and what we're doing here. We're all in this together. 888-253-3139. And, of course, you can also go donate at InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com or just InfoWars.com. You can find it right there. And you can also spread the link to the 27-hour broadcast of the video feed. That's up at Infowars.com, so please help spread the word about that as well. Now, Catherine, you just went to the heart of this. They're setting up capital controls inside the country. They're making it hard to get your money outside the country. They're tracking everything we do. There's a reason we had privacy. There's a reason we had a Fourth Amendment, and now it's basically completely gone. I mean, the stuff that we were worried about 10 years ago, it's already surpassed that. And you were bringing up this fact that, again, it's not us that has something to hide. Look at how secretive government is. As it more and more wants to know everything we're doing, and is caught framing us as well, that's another issue of privacy. Now they want to be completely secret. Please continue.
Yeah, well, that's for darn sure, isn't it? And, you know, this E-Parasites Act that you were talking about, this act that basically says you can shut down a website if there's something on it that somebody says is copyrighted. You know, I was thinking you can go on my website, KatherineAlbrecht.com or SpyChips.com or even NoCards.org, my ancient website where we were fighting shopper cards. And on those websites, it occurred to me, under this new E-Parasites bill, if it passes, you can have a picture of me in a protest, right, with a big stop RFID sign, standing under a Walmart sign in the snow. I did that in Amherst, New Hampshire. I've done that in Texas, in Dallas. I've done it all over the country. But you could take that picture and make the argument that because I've got Walmart's logo up there in the photo, even though I took a picture on a street corner with you standing under their sign, that I'm violating their copyright. Now, where this gets interesting is because, of course, this bill says if you violate copyright, then we can basically shut your website down. Now, there's a couple catches here, though. You can't shut down a website that's based in another country. So the first thing I would do, or if they did that to Infowars.com, first thing I would do, of course, is I would say, well, let me get an offshore ISP or an offshore hosting service. And
the problem is they're doing
over there.
So they're doing a global treaty, though. The Russians and the Chinese do this everywhere. And again, just like Righthaven, the copyright troll, just had their assets seized by federal marshals. They claim similar things and were defeated roundly in every court case that we've seen so far that went to court. But it's a fraud. It's made up. The lawyers are attempting to tell people you've got to have permission to shoot video of a street corner if there's a McDonald's sign. No, as long as you're under news and information and free speech, you're covered. So it's a fraud, but they tell you you can't show an image of Walmart that you took. That's our copyright. And then there's no judge, no jury, no nothing. They just take your website down. It's the incredible arbitrary fraud of this, and it's all just a power grab. It's like when McDonald's tried to take the name from the McDonald family and said, you can't use this on your castle in Scotland that pays for itself by having a bed and breakfast in it. You can't call it McDonald Castle. And they said, well, this name is 1,600 years old. And they sued them. The McDonald's had to fight them and win. But it's this attempt to bring in this tyranny.
Yeah, that they own everything. And, of course, the Internet, and I'm discovering this after 6 days of being out of power and off the Internet, I don't think we recognize how much we've come to rely on it and how much we've almost eliminated other means of communication. And that's when I get a little bit nervous when I start saying, okay, so we've got this system. It works really well for us advocates to find each other. But if they take it away, we don't have backup systems.
Stay there. Let's talk about that. Long segment coming up with Dr. Katherine Albrecht.